got the other one torn down. I'm just working on this one. I do have to fix this area up, though. There's some terraforming I have to do in the properties that are here. For example, this. I have to fix that up, and this. And there's also some of Culprit's old area, which is pretty torn up. And I'm tearing down a lot of the brick walls that are in this that are around my property because they really are unnecessary. I'm going to keep the one that's around Falcor's old property because it's just too much work for me to tear down a giant cube. That cube is like 12 properties and fairly tall, so it's yeah, it's not a good thing. This is one thing because it's only one property, but that giant wall over there that you see, that's Falcor's, and it's huge. Oops. Mind you, most of this stuff was built before they started really adding new blocks and stuff into the game. So, I mean, like, this is fairly basic, but it has also been here for years and years and years. Back when we only had birch wood and oak, spruce, yeah, and jungle, yeah, only 4 trees. And a lot of blocks didn't have stairs or half planks, any half slabs, sorry, any of that. Yeah, this is built back then. Be free, villagers, be free. I don't need you. I mean, if I created a farm here and put a composter, they could farm this stuff, but... Like, even my old buildings, like this one and the horse stable and that building made out of leaves, they're made with, like, the building made of leaves, I mean, that's 9 years old now. I've been playing this game for too long, I'm telling you. But other than World of Warcraft, this is one of my go-to games. I'm actually kind of bored with World of Warcraft right now. I want to get into it, but I can't at the moment. Maybe later. I have this and other little games to play anyways. can't fly on this server, and you can't spawn stuff in or anything. But I mean, if I could, I would definitely light up that mountain with tons of torches. This whole area would be just, I would torches, torches, torches. It'd be very well lit. I know that seems like a waste to do with creative, but I have enough supplies that I can build everything on my own. I'm fairly rich. I don't need, well, on this server, not in real life. I don't need, I don't need, I don't need much in terms of building size, but you can never have enough torches. And I'm grateful that this pick is silk touch, but it also makes it difficult. At least I can fix it easily by hitting mobs because it has mending. The question is, what will I do with this area? Well, after I'm done tearing everything down and terraforming it, I will get done my other area, make some paths up to this one, some pretty little paths like in my other one, and then I will build up here. But until then, I will just plant some trees because it's a good area. Because I also have to do the rest of inside that building right here where my pointer is. It used to be a storage building and I was transforming it into a crop building because you can get credits by harvesting crops. I really don't need more crops. I have more than enough to feed myself, but it's really, really good to get credits. Every 10 days I can go and harvest and plant crops. Of course, I've refrained from doing that because it's on stream because I mean it's fairly boring. Let's face it. It's hours of me farming all my crops, but I can also get 7,000 to 8,000 credits depending on everything. Let's see where I'm at right now. So if I harvested all of the stuff on my property, I would get enough to buy another property. I did buy a property the other day. Alexa pulled out of this area, so there was a free property in the middle of that giant cube right there. I'm not quite sure why she had been holding on to that property. I'm sure she had meaning, but I had bought all the other properties around it for preservation. I really, like, apart from thinking that that giant cube is kind of ugly, I really don't plan on doing anything to Falconer's property. Oh, I hit the wrong thing. Oops. now you guys know what happens if you accidentally hit an iron golem. They're friendly, trust me. They're really friendly, unless you accidentally hit it. Ugh. They used to be you could just hit it and it wouldn't attack back unless you were hitting a villager, but not anymore. Oh, that sucks. If you guys haven't played hardcore before, hardcore you can only die once, and then the game ends. There's no comeback like in here. If you die, that's just don't play. I or die foolishly. So, like, just why is there snow in the middle? Who knows? Now I have to run all the way back here because the nether portal and the tube station at spawn have been closed from the public for a while now, because they redid the building and then they just closed it off. So I have no idea where the other ones that are around spawn are because they are around spawn. So I have no idea where exactly those stations are because I never paid attention. I probably should have, because now the one that's directly at spawn, I can't do anything with, so. Well, you also my iron golems are good guardians now. Oh my, never mind. See, I'm pretty certain that there's a tube station around the area that I'm heading into. I just need to tell you where exactly that tube station is. The area, if you train, it leads to the negative 2000 transportation hub, and that connects to tubes and the railway. And you notice my place connects the tubes and the railway as well. But not everybody has done that, so. The good thing is because there's no one else around my property when I go back, my stuff will still be there because it's not loaded in right now because I'm too far away. Because I would be so mad if I lost the reddening. That is my baby pick. That's the one. That's my god. That's my god tier item. I should probably take the tubes at some point and figure out where the other entrances are that are near spawn, so I don't have to. The no no offense to the railway. If I had a cart, this would be a lot easier, but I don't have a cart. This used to be the only mode of transportation on the server other than, pigs and horses. But and it was quite extensive, and then the wipe happened and a large portion of it was also wiped. So the north line, which is what I'm traveling along right now, the north line was almost fully restored. However, other lines like the west line and the east line, only bits and pieces of it have been restored. So when I'm going to the northeast area of the map, the the Grand Cathedral, for example, used to be a transportation hub, and the transportation hub is still underneath the Grand Cathedral, but there's no connecting lines to it unless you go all the way to Subaroris, which is even further northeast. But like back to Spawn, there's no connecting. Um, Subaroris is a really pretty area. At some point, I should really take you guys on a tour around some of the other builds on this map because they are really quite impressive. Um, they have the arcane orb. I can't get into the actual property to run around it, unfortunately. You can get into some areas of it, but not all of it. They have the Grand Cathedral. Um, they they have a few things around the Grand Cathedral, and they have Subaroris. Um, they have San Francisco. I think I've been through San Francisco um, with the people here. I ran through it with my friend Reaper, I believe. But they have another one that's about 1,000 blocks away, which is also another player city. They have Roanoke, which is a really, really old city on this server. Like, the players used to make all these lovely little player cities and live together. My area was also considered a player city. It used to be called the Islands. That's why when I'm running along here, it will say the Islands line, because back before the wipe, I wasn't part of mainland. I was literally on a giant island. That's why it was called that, obviously. However, when the wipe happened, we changed the name of the islands to Corvus, but we kept the name of the railway and everything the same so people wouldn't be confused, because they're so used to calling it the islands. It was a really it was a really nice area before, but there was a lot of grief in our area, which isn't allowed on the server, but because it was a far out area, not towards spawn where most of the players congregated. Um, I could only search everything now and then because I had my own goals. It can take months for me to discover something. Like we had living Living Moon Kingdom and Dead Sun Kingdom, and they were heavily griefed. And I was in the process of actually fixing them up when the word came down that we were having a land wipe for 7.5. So I grabbed all the stuff, like all the sand and stuff from Dead Sun because it was in a desert before the wipe because I didn't know if I'd be able to have a desert again. So I grabbed all of that before the wipe, and I grabbed most of the resources, like the building stuff that I had done. I tore everything down except for the cobble stuff, of course. In a way, it was a blessing because Dead Sun was really like the person who built it before. I think his I see. There you go. That's the person who built it before. VOD 12. I I started owning his property in about 2013. They had moved from one side of like from this side of the map to the other side. They decided that they didn't want to live in the northeastern side anymore and they moved to the southern side of the map and they just left their whole property. They didn't tear any of it down. They were still active, but I was the one who ended up buying their property because it was near my property and it was really heavily griefed. But VOD apparently had a fascination with traps. Now, traps are allowed on this server, but, and it's a big but, you have to mark the area where they're in. You don't need to say exactly where they are. Oh, crap. Run, 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 run. You don't have to say exactly where they are because that would kind of defeat the purpose. But like you need to give ample warning that there are traps on your property, which VOD didn't, I might add. For a veteran player, he broke the rules there. Um, and there were so many traps on this property. I kept finding them. But like I found at least 15 different traps on his property. Most of them were lava traps. I just marked the whole area as unsafe. Don't come in here if you're a new player. There, like I couldn't find all the traps, but I ended up fixing the area and marking them. So here's a good example. If you go down here, it will go all the way. It was supposed to go to sub Aurora. It hasn't reached sub Aurora yet. But if you go down here, it leads to the 2000 transportation hub, which is a wonderful transportation hubs. And everything's been marked, but it says Island Line East and Island Line West. It's still called the Island Line. I don't own this property. I don't need to. This is underneath San Francisco, in case you're wondering. um, I have my own preservation projects that I have to do in my area. Right now, I'm focusing on buying all the flattened area that was around Falcor's that he had flattened. I bought all his buildings first, obviously, because the flattened area, there's nothing on it. But I bought all of that, and then I have to buy Sandwich's tower afterwards. Yes, a player called Sandwich, um, which is near my property. It's beyond Zero Eight's property. Now, Zero Eight also gave me permission to buy and build on some of his property. The properties that are in my area that he hasn't taken control of, I can buy all of those. I don't necessarily need to because I have a lot of property myself and most of his properties that were back there were not built on, so I don't need to preserve them. Um, it would just be me grabbing more properties for pretty much no reason. I don't need more property. As you can see, I have plenty to build on and even farm under like mine. Um, maybe a year down the road when I'm done my building in this area and it's all built up and it's super nice and everything, I might rediscover that area to. Oh, he put. I see what he did. Um, it would be a different case for that. From being in this area, um, I might buy those properties at that point. Because right now I do have extensive properties outlying my area, which haven't been used. Um, there there's a couple of properties that I had just given to people living with me that aren't on very often, and those properties will remain for the most part untouched. Um, Reaper, for example, owns a lot of those properties. They used to belong to a group of people who lived with me who have not played in several years, but now Reaper is in charge of them. Um, like, I don't know what I did here. This is an public property in the middle of properties that I own. Not sure what happened right there. He made it so if your food hit a certain point, you couldn't sprint because he doesn't want you to starve to death. I see what he did there. That's new. Or it's maybe been around a while and I haven't noticed because usually I have food on me. But these guys are probably farming right now. Not sure what Grawl is doing. This server used to have plenty of people on it. I think that they could up the livestock and it wouldn't hurt anymore. That's always wishful thinking for me. I'm like, at least do it to 50 and then I can make my horse pens lively again instead of having like 20 horse pens. Well, sorry, I don't have 20 horse pens. I have one for every type of horse, so 5 or 6, but I do have 16 sheep pens. One for every color and shade. 10 sheep in each. 10 to 20, I should say. I don't want to go overboard because you can only have 20. People think bamboo is ugly. I think it's pretty. Like, it's not the best out there, but it has its uses. Unfortunately, it grows really, really, really tall. Ugh. Iron golems do not attack you if you've gone out of the area after. But if you just respawn back in the same area, they will continue to attack you. Mind you, I went to spawn, so he's not attacking me. And he won't attack me unless I accidentally hit him again. He or she, I mean, who knows? Or if I kill a villager near him, which I'm not planning on killing these villagers. This is not going to be a livestock area, so I don't really care if there's villagers walking around. Now, iron golems don't despawn if all the villagers in the area die. They have to die via mob or yourself or by doing something stupid. Like iron golems can't swim is a good one. I mean, logically that makes sense. Think about it. Like something iron that can swim. Kelprate used to have a bunch of villagers in the top of this building, but they had a zombie attack up there because the area wasn't able to be guarded by an iron golem. And and they all turned to zombies. So the one day I went up to go and see his villagers, all I got was zombies. It was like the Walking Dead Minecraft style. I should have noticed that he had no protections for them though. I'm avoiding the I'm avoiding you. I don't trust not to hit you again accidentally. My favorite type of Minecraft server is one that I don't see very often because it's very resource intensive. It's called Space Block. It's sort of like Skyblock, except every hour you can take a transport to two different worlds. They spawn two different worlds, and there's a variety of worlds that can spawn depending on who runs it. So the one that I'm going to go, it might not be if you find the space block server exactly what you will find. So my favorite world was the ice world. You could find domes of glass, and in those domes you would go underground into underground cities. Um, and they were full of seeds and plants and resources like water buckets and stuff. Um, but also you would find towers, and in those towers you would find chests and villagers that were willing to trade stuff. Um, and then there was the spiderweb world, which was the most annoying world in my opinion. And you would find obviously spider webs, but you would find nether related stuff in these worlds. So chests full of stuff that you'd find in the nether, like obsidian and magma blocks, and rods and all of that stuff. And then they had the wood worlds, which is exactly what it sounded like, just a world full of forests. And then they had the desert world where you would find bone blocks and all of that fun stuff. Um, and then you would bring it all home and build your property up with it. Just like in a skyblock world. You have to buy the adjacent blocks with the credits that you earned by this stuff, either selling it on the player's market or by they had a credit system sort of like this, so many blocks you broke in those worlds. Um, they had more worlds than that. They had about 15 different worlds that you could explore, but those were the ones that I got the most resource from that I listed. However, I've only found two servers that were like that, and because they're so resource intensive, they don't last very long. I wish they did. I've never put money into them. I have, however, poured large amounts of money into Skyblock worlds that were shut down, much to my dismay. I do like Skyblock. I've never been good at faction, not really a PvPer. Um, yeah. Oh, I'm almost full on resources. I should empty this. There's lots of reclaimed items. I'm okay with Anarchy, but I don't stream Anarchy servers for the sake that really anything can and will be said in chat, and normally it's a bunch of people because they've just found swear words thinking it's cool to stream racist stuff in chat. And well, I mean, that's really against the Twitch guidelines, so I don't bother with that. That's not cool in my opinion. Like personally, when I play those servers, I'm not paying attention to chat, but because I can't turn chat off, it will go straight into my Twitch, and then people will be like, "Hey, that's not cool." Even though I'm not paying attention to it, what they say, it's pretty harmful. We had a racist person come onto this server the other day. Mind you, they got banned pretty fast. This is not an anarchy server. This will never be an anarchy server. Where you're allowed to swear now and then on this server, you are definitely not allowed to harass players, grief, loot, make their life difficult by trolling, or be racist. Let's face it, there are rules. I let like, of course I swear now and then. It happens. No one's going to get on you for that, but we will get on you for harassing players. No one likes that on this server. We're a very old server. We have established players on this server. For example, I'm one of them. Um, we like new players as long as they behave. If they go in and they start destroying everybody's property, why would we like them? Or harassing people, why would we like them? Um, but if you come in and you ask for help, and you ask for a place to live, and there's an older player on, more than likely you'll end up with a home. We don't mind. We don't mind extending some resources to new players because around spawn it is hard to find resources. We understand that. So if you come in and ask for food, usually one of us will be able to give it to you. Or there'll be something in the trade box because, I mean, I'm always doing my crops, so I always put crops in there. I don't necessarily need them, so I'll give them to people who do. I can't say the same for the old school server because I don't have as much resources as this one on the old school server. Um, however, the on the classic server, which this one is, I have a ton of resources, so I don't necessarily mind giving stuff away unless I don't have a lot of it. Like there's a few things. I don't have that many diamonds. I'm really reluctant to hand my emeralds away. Those are very useful. But if you need iron or gold, um, even even cobble, yeah, cobble, um, and maybe coal, I'm more than willing, or saplings even, to give those away. And not only am I willing to give those away, I'm willing to give them away for free because I have so much of it. But diamonds, nah, you ain't getting those for free. Sorry. Like even when I have people farm out my properties, like if there's people who are willing, they get to keep everything but emeralds and the credits. I ask for the credits and the emeralds. Everything else, including diamonds, they can keep because they've farmed it, they've earned it. Um, and the reason for that is I need the credits more than I need diamonds. I don't have a lot of diamonds, but because I'm preserving all this property, I need the credits more because I need the credits to buy the properties. But if they ask, like, I'll say, okay, you can keep part of the credits. Like, I'm not a complete stooge. Don't worry about that. Um, I supply all the tools that are needed for farming. You don't have to supply those yourself. But it is very boring to farm in this game. Like, just mine, farm, do all of that fun stuff. Very boring. That's why when I'm, like, for example, when I go to the Prismarine farm, I don't necessarily stream that because you don't need to watch me just sitting there for hours as guardians fall from the sky to their death. You don't need to see that. I'm not attacking anything. They're not attacking me. I'm just sitting there watching them die. That sounds so bad. But they give you good resources. Like, I have an endless supply of fish. And if I actually cared about catching all the ocelots on my property, that might come in handy, but I don't really care about catching all the ocelots on my property. There we go. Another building down. I have to light up this area better. I think that's fairly okay. So, like, this area right here, I need to cover this. Okay. I need to cover this up. It was a sheep pen. And then I need to terraform this a bit because it's taken out. I'm not quite sure why there's a redstone torch there, but hey. And I was extending these paths up here. But yeah, this area is really chewed up because I tore down most of the buildings in this area to redo it. These are my my old horse pens. I mean, 7.5 has been around for a while now. This is a good example of an area that needs terraformed still. Oh, look, there's a zombie. There used to be sheep down here, but there's one, been taken out. This is my underground area for a while, under my old property, of course. Um, I have another portal underneath there. It's called Sheep in a Portal. Of course, there's no longer sheep there. This is going to be an animal building, but the animals in this area despawn, so now I just have to take this down and terraform it probably by taking the dirt down. Okay. Obviously, I need to light up this area better. This used to be lit up enough that things would not spawn on it, but they've changed the lighting requirements for things not to spawn on this server, so... But anyways, as I was saying, I want to take down these walls, and this animal pen area. This used to be my villager area before things despawned. That leads to my old property right here because I don't need it like this anymore. And then terraform it so it's around this level, like right here. This is my old property for people who have not been here before. This is my very first property, which is why it looks so dull. When you first start out on Minecraft compared to now. But yeah, I want to tear down the walls that are around this property because they're no longer needed. And then you guys can get a good look into the animal pen, which used to be my villager area. Yeah, tear down the walls there. I don't particularly care that these buildings are still here. I will fix them up as needed. It was my first property. I know they're kind of generic, but that's okay. I am not, however, going to tear down Jirogi's building. I'm keeping the wall there. Yeah. Back when this area used to be lit up enough, which it isn't anymore. Not sure what happened there, but okay. I think I'll keep this area. I'll just put... But anyways, this is Jirogi's area right here, and this is Jirogi's castle area, which I have slowly been buying up. And that's a horse over there that probably has not been sprung. So not going over there. I'm keeping the walls in Jirogi's area because he's built these up nicely. I'll light it up better. I wonder if I've actually gotten all of his property. No, it can see me. Damn it. Thanks for the XP ball. Okay. Yeah, I still have one or two properties of his. Let's see. I have this one. Spider can't see me because it's blind during the day. I have one property of his left, and then the public desert, which obviously you know me, that's around Falcourt Place. Mind you, I've claimed that desert. Oh great, it's raining, but we'll head over there quickly. So this area right here where the desert is, I need to purchase that before someone farms out the sand. Because this used to be Jirogi's and Falcor's area. And then I'm doing all of the flat properties that are around, like these ones and the ones that are over there that are flattened. But really the emergency are these areas right here where there is stuff on them that is quite valuable. And am I planning on farming this? No, this is not my area to farm. I have no plans on doing anything to this desert that Falcor built. I do have plans on building inside of Jirogi's castle. I'm keeping the walls there because it is Jirogi's property, but I will build inside of it. He's no longer playing either. It's been several years since he's been on. I think the one that I miss the most is Kelprit because we used to do everything together. But he's planning on coming back. It's just right now he has some personal stuff in real life that he has to attend to, which is okay. So I can miss him a bit, but I know eventually he will come back to this. And I've been keeping in contact with him that I've built these buildings on his property. We have a tube on his property. I've been keeping him updated on everything that I'm doing on his property. He has given me permission to do all of this. The other people, however, have made no indication that they are coming back whatsoever, and it's been 4 to 6 years since any of them have been on. So, okie dokie. Let's see if they're AFK. Yep. Okay, I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. Fun stuff. At some point, I'm gonna move all of this into storage. It's gonna be a lot of work because I didn't organize it at all. But hey, so I don't care. There's a piece to know. I'll take that. I went out. He's like, "Where did you go?" When he woke up, I said, "I went to Dollarama and got you cookies." He says, "Yeah, but you were out for a really long time." I said, "So what? I got you cookies." He says, "How many boxes did you get me? Two?" I said, "No, that's not gonna last. I got you from store." He said, "Got boxes of cookies. That he will last a couple days." He only took 3 cookies last night, so. And then he says, "I noticed that you took everything out of the fridge. Why did you do that?" And I said to him, "Well, most of the stuff that you had in there, I had no idea of what so I was good or sweet. I take the stuff that you put in there, and when I notice you've put a new container in there, I will mark what day you have put it in there." He goes, "Oh, that's a good idea." And in my head, is like, "Why can't you do that yourself?" It is a good idea, though. Like if I was taking out the food, I would know how old it was myself. I don't waste a lot of food. He says, "Why are you reboiling your pasta sauce?" Well, because I added corn to it. That's why. That's a legitimate question, though, because he already saw me make it, and then I put it in the fridge, and it was sitting in there for a day. Um, and then he comes and again. I suppose that's a question I'll get away with. But does he know that pasta sauce tastes better if you let it cook overnight? Probably not. Some people don't. Hmm. It doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to make sense. a leg. Archer is playing with the stretching toy. Pretty weird. Um, I don't show my face currently, not because I don't want to, but because I live in a bachelor's, and with my roommate, he's behind me sleeping most of the time. Well, not tonight because he's at work, but a lot of the time when I stream, he is sleeping. So for his privacy, I have not, and he with his privacy. He's going to be quite busy too. He's helping my sister move, so. And then my sister's cat, Abby, will be going back to my sister on Wednesday, but I have made it very clear that I have no extra cat food to give. I have 4 cats. This used to be Lala's property. Lala is a real life friend of mine. Um, and she was dating Jaded, so they kind of co-owns this property. She hasn't played for a really long time, and Jaded stopped playing 2 years ago. I don't know, it was really weird. At high school, my real life friends who also play games with me don't really know Lala. Well, they do and they don't. They don't know how we know each other, that's for sure. But I knew her before many of them, let's just say. And she's great, but she can sometimes be just. I suppose she seriously had a difficult breakup with him, and it affected them both to the point that they stopped playing Minecraft. I can't tell you exactly what happened because it's personal, but I can tell you is that Jaded one day came to me and he goes, I'm going to cry, and says, reminds me of her when I'm leaving. I'm going to tell you this. I am not Lala, and I have never been Lala. I don't even look like Lala. But because I'm friends with him, her. He automatically associated me with her. I suppose that happens. And because of that. Like, I mean, well, we don't need to hang out together and involve her. I mean, I see Lala if I'm lucky, maybe once a year. Obviously, I didn't see her last year because 2020, let's face it, you know. Um, Probably this because 2020 currently. But yay, my shovel's gone. I should go down and pick up all the dirt. A question, it's like, what's that an egg will spawn 4 baby chickens? I was like, I have no idea. I haven't been paying attention to that. It's what, like 1 in 250 maybe? I don't know. It was on a quote that weekend. It was like, what is the gas sound originally? In case anybody was wondering, it's a cat. It's a very slowed down and reverberated cat. I follow the people who follow me. If, so I don't have a problem. I'm follow for follow. Unfortunately, I might not be sub for sub because I don't have that type of money resource right now, but I do follow back for everybody who does like to follow me on all of my platforms. So on Instagram, on Twitter, on follow back, but not Facebook. That's kind of the forgotten area. I spend way more time on Twitter. It'll be good when this area is fully done, but that's going to take a while. I was thinking of building, before the wipe, I had the Islands Village, and where I have outdone myself with some of the buildings that used to be there in the Corvus Village now. I haven't recreated any of the big buildings that used to be. So I had a house, and I had a hotel that was made out of windmills. I haven't, and then I had a normal hotel just made out of wood. I haven't recreated any of those buildings in the any of the other properties, and because I've become a much better builder than I was when I first built those buildings, I probably will end up putting some of them over here. And I became a much better builder because of a server that had a rank called architect, and you could get that rank by building, but you also had to be good at interior decorating. And the feedback that came back from my builds is my interior decorating skills are beyond fabulous. I have really good interior decorating skills, but the outside of my buildings fall kind of flat. So I built another build test and I came in fourth. I know that's something to brag about. I came in fourth, but I was very proud of myself because like less than a year before they were complaining that my buildings were too flat. And when I built that building, they said the only reason I didn't come in higher was because my building was too angular. You just can't win, right? Those buildings, in case you built of and quartz and blue glass and wool, obviously, it looked like my wood buildings that are in front of my train station. That's what I built them. And those were considered too angular. Is there such a thing? Like, if you want, is that angle? In real, these buildings, well, I mean, they could exist, but there'd be some building violations, definitely. But in game, does it really matter? Like, we're not playing for realism here. Let's face it, it's Minecraft. I mean, there are some people who do realism mod on Minecraft, so everything, but I'm not one of them. Have any texture pack? I probably could use Optifine, but I don't have Optifine right now. Um, this is natural Minecraft. No shaders, no nothing. Servers, but I prefer this one. This is my very first multiplayer server that I was on, and I've been here for since 2011 now. So 10 years. Such a close hit till I found Mountain Pass, but when Mountain Pass shut down, their community kind of went poof. Mind you, Mountain Pass has come back. It's back up now, but the community that was originally there because it got shut down is now gone. Um, Swancraft has a really close-knit community as well, but I got annoyed with Swancraft because every couple of months they all that you've built is now irrelevant because it's gone and you have to start over again. And that's okay for some people. I build big. Like, let's face it, I build big, right? Um, those buildings might look plain, but they take a lot of resources and a lot of time to make. So, it had been about a year when and I had pretty, including a horse I won in one of their contests, and it was gone. It was just poof, it's gone. Like, at least if you're going to wipe something, give the people who live there a choice if they want that area wiped, or at least give them a chance to put their stuff into safekeeping. Like, that horse, for example, it would be what they did here with the great despawn, where pretty much everybody lost all of their livestock, myself included. We had a warning for that though, but that warning was a year before it happened. And we had prepped our areas and then forgot that it was going to happen because they hadn't mentioned it. Night everything on. This is a trick for terraforming. You don't necessarily need to make the area underneath it perfect because this will suffice. Oops. I terraformed the entire island area back when I first went there, um, because it was pretty torn up. And eat with my fists because apparently I was insane. I don't know why I did that. Honestly, it's much faster to use tools, but I guess I needed to take time. My friends came over and I was digging dirt with my fists. They're like, why aren't you using tools? I don't know what was down here originally. Obviously there was a building here because there's a basement-like area right there with stairs, but no idea. I've had this property for so long that I forget what I originally built on it. That should say something. I will dig the that out eventually and replace it with this is more important. Oops. Hmm. I will have to fix my pick soon. I hear a skeleton. I don't see one though. I'm looking forward to my weekend off already, which is next weekend. Oh. I don't know what I'm doing in this little pocket area, but I'm sure I'll figure something out. That's better. Not the best, but better. There's something underneath the ground in this area, obviously, that I have covered up, and there's a skeleton under there. I'll have to get that out of the wall there. But we can tear down the animal pen. fix this area too. I miss my old laptop. I will get it fixed eventually. This one doesn't necessarily like me streaming and playing games at the same time. It drains the battery pretty fast. Even when it's plugged in, it will drain it. I'm not quite sure what the problem is with that, but oops. That's why occasionally you'll see me go AFK for brief seconds. It's because I'm checking the battery on my computer, just in case. So right now it is at 50%. I know, get a better laptop. I am planning on getting my other one fixed where I didn't have that issue at all because it was built for gaming. This, however, wasn't built for gaming. This but when my other one had its issues, this is what I could afford. So I should just get a desktop, I guess. Sorry about the noise. I was defrosting something. I'm certain Falcor had a reason he did everything like this, but to me it's just like, ugh. Need more dirt. Dirt is very valuable, for me at least. See, him and Kelpert had an issue. Like this building, I'm surprised that he built it all on one property because a lot of the times him and Kelpert would play four corners, or that's what I like to call it. Their building would be smack dab in the middle of four properties where they intersected, like right on the corner. Much to my annoyance. Because instead of just buying one property, you now have to buy all four. Pain in my butt. Like his storage building sorry, his crop building right here, it's four corners. It's in four different properties. It doesn't look that big. I mean, it's tall, but it's smack dab in the middle of four properties. And that giant cube is at least 12. I'm not sure, actually. One day I should go in and actually count. And this is how easily you can run out of dirt when you're terraforming. So always bring a lot. Or bring a llama with a lot of chests. I have llamas, but I don't have very many. I always loved the llamas though. For people who haven't played with the llama before, all you have to do is lead one llama with the lead and the rest will follow it. You don't need leads to lead the rest of them. And up to 12 llamas, you'll have a little llama train. But you only really need to lead one of them and the rest will follow. And then they have their own little spaces on their saddles where you can put chests in them. Very useful when you're farming. Not so useful when you're exploring. And they come in a variety of colors, but I only have one. It's dark brown, light brown, and white, I believe they come in. But I only have light brown, so I'm surprised I even got any, to be honest. I was in shock when one of them spawned on my property. I was overjoyed. I had to go buy the other ones so I could make babies with it. Much better. It's getting there. Falcor once said to me, now that I built more shapes than squares, that I have outbuilt him. I don't know. I think some of his buildings are fairly pretty. Let's see how many credits that gave me. Well, not bad. Okay, well, I'm going to fix my pick because the reddening needs to be fixed. It's a mending pick, so I need to go hit a bunch of mobs with it. But I will be back tomorrow, I promise you on that. I am able to stream more freely, just not show my face yet because of my roommate, and he won't be, when he comes home tomorrow, it will be after 12, so he'll be passed out, so I can be as loud as I want. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.